Welcome everyone. Selamat datang semua dari Sabah, Sarawak, Brunei, Kalimantan, dan dari luar Borneo juga. Yeah, welcome everyone from Sabah, Sarawak, Brunei, Labuan, Kalimantan, and also from all over the world. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us today for this very important topic, and we are very privileged to have wonderful person who has been very active in this movement of protecting our environment in Sabah. Yeah, my name is Ken Dunstan Kundaya, originally from Sabah in Papar, Kampung Limbahau. I'm based in London at the moment and planning to go back as well and go back very often. So I'm based in London. I'm a lawyer by training, also an academic, and I'm now in corporate law most of the time. I launched this Borneo Forum several years ago, a small meeting based in London, especially the School of Oriental and African Studies, where I do my research most of the time. A small meeting, mainly to get together any Bornesian or Borneans in London to meet up. But of course, when the pandemic happened, we transitioned to virtual, and boy, we have grown since. This is our 14th session on virtual. In fact, it's a bit more than that. The first two are unofficial, small group. It is our 14th session now. So today we are just to give you an overall vision and mission of the Borneo Forum. Borneo Forum is part of Borneo Organization Limited, a UK registered company. And Borneo Organization itself is a social enterprise model. It is a for-profit social enterprise, purpose-driven organization. And Borneo Forum was the media brand of the company, but now it is incorporated on its own as a not-for-profit company, limited by grantee based in the UK. Now, what is the mission and the vision of Borneo Forum? Primarily, it is to protect Borneo, the environment, especially, and the people and our land. And we do that by putting effort to connect all the Bornean or Bornesians, I call them, together, because as I repeat myself in every single forum, we are separated by history, because Sabah, Sarawak, Brunei were with the British influence, and again, the Kalimantan were under the Dutch influence. That actually marked a demarcation for us, not only by history, but also physically boundary, and we end up a big island, the most well-known, one of the most well-known island in the world, the third largest island in the world, but yet we are actually we aren't able to really conduct ourselves as a beautiful island, so to speak. And that's not a political statement. We believe that by connecting ourselves with Kalimantan, the 5 provinces, Brunei, Sabah, Sarawak, Labuan as well, we are able to organize economic activities like this, cultural, social activities. Currently, it's all virtual, but the ambition is to be holding a lot of live events. So the mission of Borneo Forum is to connect us, to create the network for all Bornesians or Borneans together and act as if we are one beautiful big entity and protect our beloved island, and as well as addressing each provinces, Sarawak, Sabah, Brunei, Labuan, Kaltim, Kaltara, Kalsel, Kalbar, and all the 5 provinces here. So welcome everyone. Today, our topic is special. Yeah, it is the plastic, Sabah Borneo plastic neutral. Okay, as we know, we suffer a lot from plastic pollution badly all over the world, but also in Sabah, Sarawak, and all over. And we have the new Nusantara, the new IKN, Ibu Kota Negara Baru Indonesia, that's being built in Kaltim, Kalimantan Timur. That's a huge development, and we would like to be part of this huge development now that's taking place and come in at early stage. How we can set up the agenda on reducing plastic pollution. Now, today, I would like to introduce you to our host, and Miss Amy Dangin, or popularly known as Auntie Patrin. I first encountered her video randomly, and I was totally confused, and it was hilarious. But Amy Dangin is a former journalist turned radio presenter, TV show host, actor, and social media influencer with over 30,000 social media followings, local and regional. She is the face behind the viral Auntie Patrin character and auntie who delivers important community messages with humor and lots of senses. Amy has always been passionate about social issues, and her work in the last couple of years had been focusing on advocating for better mental health awareness and environmental ethics in society. So I would like to welcome Ms. Amy Dangin, or Aka Auntie Patrin, to take over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. It's me, Amy, and I am glad to be here, to be joining and be in the same space with a lot of people whose accreditations, maybe among all of you who are here today, especially people like Ken, people in the Borneo Forum, and our speakers for today, I would have the least in terms of playing significant roles, especially when talking about the cause that we are going to highlight on today, environmental. So first of all, thank you for giving me this space. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the trust to help moderate today's very important topic. And I think one of the first things that I wanted to highlight, and I think I mentioned this also, out of all the many environmental messages, campaigns that we've heard before, why should this be any different, right? And I'm sure amongst our audience, we would like to know too. So let's find out together. And yeah, just to also note, good to see some familiar faces. I see environmental heroes. I see SM Mutu. I see Bani, Adrian Lasimbang. I see Monica, whom I will introduce because she's also a big part of Blue Hope and the Sabah-Plastic Neutral. I see Ruth Yap just now, who's been a champion for reducing waste, right, in our life, especially here in Sabah. So good to see you all here, and I really hope that today's session will be fruitful in so many ways, and if anything, just help us re-spark, because I'm sure in the decades of movement, efforts, programs that we have been organizing, mesti ada rasa macam pandai down sikit yang banyak sudah environmental campaign, begitu-gitu juga kita punya masalah ini. So if anything, hopefully by the end of today's session, we will all walk out of here feeling re-sparked, right? Re-driven, re-inspired to want to do something about it. So yeah, before I go on to any further, I wear many hats, as Ken described it just now, but I am here today wearing the hat of a Blue Hope ambassador, right? Representing Blue Hope. I've been a part of their program. They have trusted me enough to take me into their hosting their webinars. So I kind of have a good idea of what Simon Christopher and Monica Chin of Blue Hope are trying to do. And just a little bit of maybe introduction. Simon will introduce better later, but Blue Hope is a campaign, a movement, I would say, that that was conceived by Simon, Monica, and people from the British High Commission, Kuala Lumpur, right? And of course, these people have been passionate about environmental issues for decades now, especially focusing on in Sabah. And they founded many movements, many campaigns. Simon is also known for making many storytelling videos, contents to highlight these problems. But what truly drive Blue Hope to exist was the very, very degrading issue, plastic issue, especially when I think it was in 2019 with the expose that lots of foreign countries were dumping their waste in our land, and that ends up in the sea and harming very, very much our sea life, our source of life. But before anything else, I think one video would be able to explain more what Blue Hope's hope and motivation and mission is for having this campaign and for people behind it doing all the work that they've been doing, right? And FYI, this is a very special video. It's one by, with Sir David Attenborough in it, right? A very well-known and famous naturalist, worldwide known naturalist, who used to be one of the most watched guy on TV talking about environment and wildlife. And he has been the face also, a very important face in Blue Hope. So let's watch the video. I believe the video is ready.
Hello, Malaysia. My name is David Attenborough, and I'm a naturalist, and I've travelled around the world making films for more than 65 years. Once we thought that the world's oceans were so vast and its inhabitants so infinitely numerous that nothing we did could affect them. But now we are seeing a new side to the oceans. As a filmmaker, I've been hugely privileged to travel the world and celebrate the wonders beneath the ocean's surface, including off Malaysia, one of my favourite places of all. Sabah and Sarawak have over 550 species of coral. Peninsular Malaysia, seagrass beds, their very own spectacular plants and other marine life, critical for the survival of your endangered dugongs and sea turtles. But in recent years, I've witnessed firsthand that plastic waste is destroying marine life the world over. What's so tragic about plastic pollution is that it is so totally unnecessary. The plastic in our oceans should never have found its way there in the first place. A staggering 8 million tonnes of plastic now ends up in our oceans every year. This is a disaster. Blue Planet 2's crew saw plastic everywhere they filmed. And once it's in the sea, it stays there and it doesn't go away. But this catastrophic damage to our oceans is reversible, and nature can recover if we give it a chance. While the actions of just one of us, you, may seem to be so very small with really no effect at all, in fact, knowing there are hundreds of thousands of people all doing the same thing is starting to have a truly positive effect. Every single one of us now needs to think, and I mean really think, about how we use plastic. So, I strongly urge you all to treat plastic with care, because if it reaches the environment, it will stay there for a very long time, if not forever, and ultimately affect us all. Every one of us should be extremely proud of their natural heritage and passionate to protect and conserve it and ensure that it remains around for future generations. We all have a responsibility to care for our planet. The future of humanity, and indeed all life on Earth, now depends on us. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Good luck to us in handling this problem. One thing that really caught me in that video, and by the way, that was the only, I think, the third time the video was ever made public. Yeah, so we're all very privileged to be able to watch that message, a very important one. And that's just one of the many videos that Blue Hope is hoping to spread throughout through the Sabah-Plastic Natural Education and Awareness programs, which will be focusing a lot in schools, because we're gonna go to the children, because the adults are all very susah. You know how karas already our utak, our behavior. It's so ingrained in us that it has become a part of our DNA, I think, to just take convenience for granted. I think one of the things that Sir David said is it's so unnecessary. A lot of the stuff that ends up in the ocean and that are killing our source of life, benda-benda yang macam botol mineral plastic, like we could have avoided a lot of the problems that we're facing now if we had just seen the unnecessary need to go overboard with our plastic use. But here we are in the present, having to deal with all of this. And I think I'm going to introduce, because we started off quite late and we only have so little time, right? So I'm going to introduce the man behind Blue Hope. He is the founder of Scuba Zoo and Timor Blue, originally conceived and has continued to grow Blue Hope from the beginning. Simon is a marine zoologist by background, and he's a storyteller who has produced countless underwater films in the Coral Triangle, and he has been based in Sabah. He may look orang putih, but don't be fooled. He is very much Sabahan, like all of us. But yeah, I'm going to hand over the mic to Simon to explain more about Blue Hope and why Sabah, why this program, and why Sabah.
Thanks, Amy.
Christopher.
Thank you so much. Great to have you here. You are an absolute star. Great to have you with us. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up? Yeah. So, Sabah-Plastic Neutral. I as Eri says, I'm a storyteller. I'm a Sabahan. I essentially came here. I'm a Brit, but I came here in '95, and I fell in love with Sabah very quickly. I'm a marine biologist by background, but I luckily, when I left university, I went to London, and I didn't get married or buy a house, and I went in search of the best diving, and very quickly gravitated to our beloved Sabah, because of an amazing place called Pulau Sipadan. So I went in search of the best diving, and as soon as I found Sipadan, I knew that this is where I really wanted to stay. So I did 6 months filming or swimming around, doing my dive master on Sipadan, and then I went out to Australia, and I got into underwater filming. Within a week of filming, I was hooked, and I was filming videos for everyone on the Barrier Reef, and I started really upsetting everyone, because I said, "Oh, you think this is good? You should come back to Sabah, to Sipadan, because it's so much better." And so that was what I did. I came back to Sipadan and set up Scuba Zoo in 1996, and I've been involved in storytelling, showcasing Sabah, Malaysia, Borneo, the Coral Triangle ever since. Been involved in a couple hundred hours of TV programming. We set up scubazoo.tv, and then about 2 or 3 years ago, I realized how many times we bring Sir David over here. We brought him over here 2 or 3 times, and how many films we make, we're still losing our biodiversity, and biodiversity is the air we breathe and the water we drink. So I realized that I should really just stop telling stories, and so I took a sabbatical off and went in search of a new thing, and quite quickly started on plastics, and we launched Blue Hope on World Ocean Day in 2020 with the support of the British High Commission. Amazing message from Sir David, and we had Sylvia Earle, Her Royal Deepness, who is the most amazing advocate of the oceans, and she dialed in live from San Francisco. We did about 60 webinars over 5 days. We had 500,000 followers using our network from all over the world. And ever since then, we've been very much banging the drum. But like everyone, we've had the rug pulled from beneath our feet because of COVID. So it's been very hard to actually do much except position ourselves and get things ready. And so since then, we launched Sabah-Plastic Neutral. We started off in Timor-Leste and Timor-Leste plastic neutral, but we decided to come back here and start Sabah-Plastic Neutral. And we launched Sabah-Plastic Neutral last March with Dutton Mercedes and a lot of key stakeholders. I think, Amy, you helped us launch that as well. And then since then, we've signed a KK Plastic Neutral with Datu Mayor and DBKK. And we spent the last 6-7 months really deciding what's the best way to move forward. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring on a presentation and just talk you through what the plan is, and then pass over to Monarch and a few other key people in our story. So just bear with me. I'm just going to call up this presentation. Make sure to screen share. Sabah-Plastic Neutral, which kind of spawned with the idea of tackling plastic in one location. And we realized that Sabah is a great location because not only is it the most biodiverse place, one of the most biodiverse places left in ASEAN and Bimpiaga region and the Coral Triangle, Sabah has more biodiversity than any other location. And so we said, let's create this story, Sabah-Plastic Neutral, 4 or 5 million people. If we can create this story and show that Sabah can do it, then the rest of the world will support and follow. But we have to start with KK. As much as we want to go to Sipadan and Semporna and the Kinabatangan, we have to prove ourselves in KK and Pulau Gaya, the problems here. If we can't fix our back garden here in KK, then there's no point talking about other locations. So we've really been focusing on KK. So the key problems, in Sabah, obviously, the fact that there's no separation of source. So people are just using plastic, and even though some people might be recycling, there's really very little plastic recycling. Villagers burn their waste and they throw it away. And the main solution for plastic is landfill, which is the same all over the world. In Malaysia, we have 200 landfills, which are all brimming full, and a disaster kind of happening right under our noses. And so we really have to find a new solution. And all the government schools, for example, they rely on plastic bottles to provide clean drinking water. So we realize that it's to change things, we have to tackle things like water themselves before we expect people to stop using plastic bottles. And really, like everywhere around the world, there's plastic everywhere in the environment. So we spent the last 7-8 months working out what's happening to plastic in Sabah. We looked at the 3 main urban areas, Kota Kinabalu, Sandakan, and Tawau. And that picture on the left, the big green circles are the total volume of waste per day, tonnage. So between 500 and 600 tons in KK, 269 in Sandakan, about the same in Tawau. And on the right-hand side is what we're talking about. It's a plastic. And so within KK, the greater KK, every day there's around about 75 tons of plastic generated, and about 40 in Sandakan and 27 in Tawau. And these are probably 15 to 20% variable, depending. This is based on the data that we have now. So that is what's happening with plastic. These are the amounts of plastics we're talking about. The problem is that the amounts of plastic are not nearly as big as we see in other places like West Malaysia, in Selangor and Johor. So it's very hard to deal with large amounts of plastic. And so creating a plastic recycling economy is going to be very difficult. It's going to be easier in Kota Kinabalu, but harder in Sandakan and Tawau. So we have to look at finding solutions and creating localized solutions, decentralized solutions. So we're ironing these out now, but we're looking at different technologies where we can take plastic from the islands, we can turn it into plastic boards. So this is one example of a plastic board. I'm not sure if you can see that, but this is made exclusively out of, I will just see if I can, we've got these plastic boards which are made out of 100% from plastic and waste. And so we're looking to use these to replace furniture in schools. Not really working, but we've got this amazing new technology we're looking at. But I think the main thing is however much technology, whatever technologies we play with and how much money you throw at a location like Go to Kinabalu, the reality is that education awareness is everything, and we really need to focus on education and a spiritual cultural transformation. So technologies and money obviously is what's required, but the reality is the world has to go through this transformation. It starts with education and awareness. So this is the most important thing, and we're starting with schools. So we started off with schools, and as we started talking to all the teachers, we quite quickly found out the problem was water, because all the schools are trying to stop plastics. They're stopping selling plastic bags in the canteen. But when you start talking about stopping plastic bottles, literally just about every school has a problem, and they cannot provide reliable, safe, clean drinking water. So we were about to launch our Rethinking Plastics campaign with some amazing messages with some Sir David, and translated into Bahasa Melayu with Maya Karin. But we realized that if we're going to be playing this to all the kids and saying don't use plastic bottles, but they're actually drinking from plastic bottle, drinking water from plastic bottles, this is a big issue. So we said we're going to have to deal with this first, because nothing more confusing for a young mind to be told not to do something, and then you're actually feeding them bottle, actually giving them plastic bottles of water. So that was a big issue. So we spent about 6-7 months finding the best water filter, the most sustainable water filter. That's very low maintenance, doesn't take, you don't have to keep changing the filters. And we arrived at an amazing French filter system, which is being sent all around the world to places like Haiti, very humanitarian effort. And so this is the system that we've used. And what we're looking to do is to essentially roll this out into each school and deliver clean, reliable drinking water at the same time as our Rethinking Plastics campaign. And we're starting with the first 30 schools and Pulau Gaya, the schools out on Pulau Gaya. I'll be announcing a little bit some great news from the French embassy, French ambassador was in KK last week, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But essentially what we're doing is bringing in these water filters and delivering clean drinking water at the same time as our messaging. So it's a combination of changing the reliance on plastic at the same time as delivering a really, really powerful plastic message. And so with that said, I think what we might do is play the next video, Jonas, if we can, which is the video, the Fonte de Vivo video, just so you can see what this filter is, to find out a bit more about the filter. Thank you.
I am David Monnier, Fonte de Vivo's co-founder and president. It took us over 2 years of R&D to produce the Oreza, a durable family water purifier. The Oreza is meant to fit the needs of INGOs, local organizations, and governments willing to provide access to safe drinking water in rural areas and during emergencies responses. Together with the technical support of some of the main French INGOs, we designed a long-lasting autonomous purifier. Long-lasting because made with top-quality French ultrafiltration membranes, but also because of a patented built-in backwash system. Our main goals are to enable users to be self-sufficient water-wise, to offer an excess solution able to cover access to drinking water from emergency to development, and to improve the social impact of humanitarian operations. The ORESA is made in France, repairable and recyclable. It is made to last years without need of energy and spare parts in order to limit its environmental impact. We want to massively deploy the ORESA all over the world in order to support the UNDG objectives aiming at providing a universal access to potable water before 2030. Winning the desired prize will mean accelerating our deployment, possibly improving the life of millions, and ultimately saving life around the world. Thank you very much for your support.
So it's an amazing bit of equipment, and you know, I think the key thing is that it's incredibly innovative. It doesn't need changing filters. It doesn't need electricity, and it's something that can be used anywhere. And obviously in Sabah and Malaysia, we also have big issue now with a lot of flooding and all those loss of water around. People are getting less and less access to water. So it's actually not just going to be a tool for schools as a tool to combine with a new Rethinking Plastics message, but also something we're going to be basically bringing to communities as well. So Amy, over to you. What are your thoughts on that? It's keen to hear.
Yeah. I was going to ask about how about maintenance of these things. I mean, we have been known to come up with, we as in Sabah, right? Still a lot of space and room to improve. We're great with ideas. Sometimes the idea is great, but how about the maintenance? What kind of maintenance does it need?
Yeah, I mean, I think the really important thing when we sat down with Sabah Education Department, one of the key things is we obviously are donating the filters, so there's no cost to the schools themselves, and there's no cost in terms of electricity or having to modify the canteen. It's a very simple unit, and so we wanted to come up with something that would really not be just end up being another piece of plastic littering the school in a year or two's time, because the maintenance of the filters. So we really look far and wide. Of course, there's lots of water filters in Malaysia and locally, but the point is they're quite high in maintenance, and so the combination of the fact that this has a backwash system, so you don't have to change the filters. It has a very ultrafine filtration mechanism, which is the highest rating with the World Health Organization, meant that this was our chosen filter, because we felt that it would withstand the tests of the most frontier locations, schools. But some of the schools we're going to be dealing with, they're 7 hours on foot from the nearest road or river. It's all very well. I mean, Pulau Gaya and obviously around KK, that's less of an issue, but you've got some very remote communities and schools we're dealing with. So we needed something that was going to withstand the tests of the environment and not needing maintaining. So that's how we arrived at the product.
Yeah. And I think it's amazing that this Sabah-Plastic Neutral campaign comes up with not just like, okay, so here's a campaign to reduce plastic, but that the campaign also thought about other perspectives of it, like, reliance on plastic to provide one of the most basic human needs, which is water. And if you think about it, it's ridiculous that a country, a region like Sabah can run out of access to clean water when we receive rain every year. So sometimes it's amiss to me that, some certain areas, some residential areas in Sabah still have to go through issues like, oh, we have not been receiving water. I mean, my friend who's staying in Talipok, Ria, always facing water issues. And I'm like, dude, we're living in Sabah. How can we still face this problem in 2020, 2022? So I think it could be the beginning of a really good move to solve that kind of issue. So kudos to Water is Life program. I think we're also interested to know other than Simon, I don't think any man is an island, right? So who else are behind Blue Hope?
Yeah, no, it's very important, and I think it's key to say that, you know, in terms of how we're going to get ourselves out of this fix globally, not just, you know, little KK, it's collaboration, it's everyone's in this together, and so we're all responsible. You know, we're totally reliant on plastic now, particularly if you have kids. You just can't go out shopping. You know, you go out to giant supermarket or anywhere, you cannot exist and survive without plastic. It's so difficult. So we as a species have to go through this transformation. But in terms of the kind of Blue Hope team, I mean, I'm a great storyteller, great enthusiast, but there's no way I could possibly achieve what we're looking to achieve without some core team members and you know, community. Essentially, Blue Hope is looking to equalize and with the power and the value of plastic to actually bring a new opportunity for communities. And so we have a great team. Monica Chin will be next up. She's amazing, been a diver for 20 years, and some of the stories that she'll share, the kind of the dugongs, you know, diving and with her mom and dad and Mantanani, are just, that's what it's all about. But it's the network. So really, Sabah-Plastic Neutral is about Sabah presenting the world a coalition and a movement showing that Sabah can, Sabah Boleh, Sabah Maju Jaya. It really is including everyone. You've got an amazing amount of NGOs in Sabah all working. But this is a big movement all working together. We can't do this on our own. We've got an amazing partners, and it's really a monumental coalition of Sabah working together to protect Sabah and for the rest of the world to watch, follow and support. But I'd say that Monica, who's next up, is absolutely key. She will bring the story to the communities, and then we have a few other people, but I'd like to pass over to Monica now because she really is our kind of community director, and she's the co-founder for Sabah-Plastic Neutral and Blue Hope Sabah generally. So over to you, Monica. Are you there? Hopefully you're there.
Are you here mentally?
I'm here soulfully and mentally, but not physically. Right. Hi, everyone. Like Simon said, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are and around the world, tuning in with us, spending your Saturday here. And thank you for the amazing introduction of our Blue Hope, Simon, and glad to have you here also, Auntie Patrin. Kotor, sapu-sapu dulu. Okay. Let me bring up my slide. Okay, thank you so much. Once again, I'm Monica Chin. I'm originally Sabahan and original from Kota Belud. I born and bred in Kota Belud, and I have 2 teenage kids, which is tremendously into a clean and healthy environment for their life. You know, they're preaching all of this, what Amy and Simon and all of us has talking about. So, and then I'm actually working, those who knows me, like Amy said, I saw familiar faces here. For those who know me, friends around me, that you guys know that I'm wearing few hats as well, like Amy. But today I'm wearing a Blue Hope hats to present what we are actually doing for our beloved Sabah today. So I have been working closely with our local community, especially in Sabah, for 15 years now, today as count. And what makes me, of course, a lot of you guys will ask, what make you want to working with the community, the kampung people, underprivileged, undocumented, fishermen, those catching crab, going into the mangrove, stuff like that? Why you have to do that? Why can't you just sit down in your corporate world, corporate work, earning good money and live life? But to me, no, that's not my aim, because like what Simon said, I've witnessed the most magical, amazing underwater world when I was just start snorkeling with my late mother in 1980s. And with her, I witnessed 20 to 30 of dugongs in Mantanani Island at my hometown in the very mid-morning, which my father took us out to the island and he go fishing and we just stopped by for snorkeling. And now, today, it's gone. As whoever been to Mantanani Island, compared to last time, my childhood history, those days is only 5 to 6 houses. Compared today, it's a lot of resort, a lot of, there's three big kampong, 3 village in that island now, and the dugong has gone. Most painful scenes that I saw is a lot of big hole around the reef. It's due to the fish bomb activity at the village around that island few years back and not recently. So these are the things that make me freaking out what I'm gonna show to my kids when they become a diver like me. Yeah, both of them are certified open water diver now, and they are very good diver. And they asked me to take them to show them what I have seen during my first time into the water, which I afraid to answer, and I couldn't answer them. That's make me want to do more to our local community. I will elaborate more after this, and I have been scuba diving for 24 years old this year. As a leisure diver, I'm not instructor, I'm not dive master, but I'm a leisure diver. I have been mostly diving in the famous place in Southeast Asia. If you guys have seen my article last week in Asia Time Post, so that's beginning of my story to share with you guys. So yeah, a lot of things that I can 100% sure you guys will never seen what I saw in 1980s and 1990s, but a lot of plastic waste, plastic bottle under the water as depth as 27 meter in our Sabah water today. So yeah, today I'm presenting you some of the update in our Blue Hope Sabah story as a co-founder and community director. Next, please. Right, thank you, Amy. So it's like all of us here, we have been fighting. I'm sure all of us here love our Sabah, miss those days, nature, those beautiful tiny road and clean street, clean roadside. Whenever you travel to Ranau, to Kota Marudu, or to Kudat, or to everywhere around Sabah, but today is full of garbage just right on the roadside as well. Don't talk about underwater, but like I said, is when you witness underwater, it's really freak you out, and not everyone can do the cleanup. So we have been working so hard to explain about Blue Hope, how Blue Hope can collaborate with everyone here, especially the state government. And yeah, finally we get the support in late 2020. And these are the pictures we have. We have a full support, strong support from the Ministry and Housing and Local Government Sabah, Datuk Seri Panglima Masidi Manjun, and we have a strong support from the Ministry of Tourism Sabah, Sabah Tourism Chairman and his team, and as well as Sabah Park. So I'm sure all of you asking why about tourism, not community. Yes, because all the waste, all the garbage will flow out to our ocean from the river and slowly to our ocean. So we need to engage with the people like who can make decision from what Blue Hope gonna deliver to our people in Sabah. Next slide, please. Other than that, we also have met our Sabah State Education Department director. So she got really shocked and happy to see the water kits, and as well as the education and awareness program to all our schools in Sabah, which is in whole Sabah, we have 1,296 schools. All the school has no clean drinking water. What this means is we cannot ask our kids to take the water bottle, go to the water tap, let's say water pipe, pipe lah bilang our Sabah kan. Take the bottle, go to the pipe, and then isi air, and then minum. No, we can't do it in the entire Sabah. We don't have that facility yet. So that's why we explained to the education department that we need to do this. We need to provide clean drinking water in order to reduce the mineral water plastic bottle as a waste that they don't have any way to manage it, to sort it out, which is the only solution is throw to the river, throw to the sea, or bury it under the ground, or burn it. That's it. That's the solution. If they are free enough, then they will carry out to the kedai-kedai or pekan-pekan nearby, the nearby town, and then just dump it to the dustbin, big commercial dustbin. So that's the solution now. That's why we explained to the education department. They agree. We have their full support now, and we also met our president of youth department in Sabah. The youth are ready to support us in any way, any district in around Sabah as well. So then in May last year, we have a MOU signing with the DBKK, which is signed by Mayor, our new Mayor. So we have their full support as well for KK plastic neutral. Next, please. And yeah, so this is my part. Other than channeling and connecting with the ministry, government department, but these are the most important part that I want to explain to and to share with all of you guys. The Blue Hope Sabah is about community engagement. It's not about us. It's not about Borneo Forum. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about Simon. It's not about Monica. It's about the community. Community is the most important in the whole project of Sabah-Plastic neutral Borneo and KK. So our first pilot, our first aim is to engage with the 5 villages in Pulau Gaya. So we have several meetings with the head of the villagers and the youth, the community, as you see in the pictures. Next, please. Why Pulau Gaya? Why Pulau Gaya? Of course, I got a lot of negative view, positive view, and question. They ask me, Monica, why you go to Pulau Gaya? Why don't you go to Semporna? Why don't you go to Kudat? Why not Menombok? Why not here? Why not there? But yeah, we want to do. We want to accelerate this program, this project to entire Sabah, but we need to start somewhere. We need to start somewhere that easier and more impactful for not only for us, but for the environment and the community, which that's why we choose Pulau Gaya. So why Pulau Gaya? Because they're in the city, and the situation, guys, you guys have no idea. You guys have no, I have no explanation that how terrible are the environment that these people are live in. Like you see in the pictures, there's no solution, no alternative for all the plastic waste, which is not only from the villages, but it's also washed up and down from the sea, which is from the south and from the north-south, from Philippines. So, and the west from all the 4th river, the 5, 6 river from the city center. So they are accumulating all this waste in their village. So they have no choice. There's no waste management. There's no recycle center in the whole 5 village. So the people is suffering. Our island, which is nearby the Tunku Abdul Rahman Park, just right 15 minutes, 10 minutes from the city, is horrifying and horrible. So that's why Blue Hope chose Pulau Gaya to be our pilot program for the plastic solution. Next. Okay, this is my last sharing. Blue Hope Sabah community engagement is all about education and awareness. we did a lot of collaboration with other NGO and social enterprise company, and as well as international supporter as well, company and foundation. So we want to create a plastic value, like just like the tin can. Kalau kamu nampak itu, the tin can, Coca-Cola tin can by the road, right? You will disappear in few minutes, but not plastic. So we're gonna create the plastic value into a waste, from the waste to the opportunity, and give them a solution, which Simon's shared that a plastic pallet, we will build probably furniture for the school that don't have enough table and chair for studies, and alternative school and community, maybe the kampung, the balai raya, right? So there is a lot of things that we can do. And then this is the most important, clean drinking water to all 1,296 schools, youth engagement, and get them to move the machinery in all our district. And last, women empowerment. I'm sorry to say I'm focusing on women because men, it's only talk. So women has more empowerment, women has more influence, have more influence power compared to a man. So yeah, I really hope to gather all the women around Sabah to work this out together. Thank you so much. That's all from me. Back to you, Amy.
I think before we anger the men with Monica's.
They won't angry. I know it. Anyway.
But I think the key is working together, right? And I think what Monica's, to put it better in what Monica says, it's normally with the women leading anything, initiating, then it's easier for the men to come. And that, I think that's the case also in most communities. It's easier to have women to look at these softer things that is not immediately obvious, right? So, and then get the men to help us do the physical, the muscle work, the work that needs the muscle bit. The women is the heart and the brain, begitu. And so combination, we need all genders to work together. So thank you, Monica, for the explanation. Obviously, Blue Hope, as shown by Monica and Simon, have been doing a lot in the last couple of years, right? In bringing the work to the community. And I have a lot of questions. You answered some of them already. Why Pulau Gaya? Obviously, the sampah problem there, very, very serious. But I also, maybe later on, we will have space to talk about what about starting from our own household, starting from our own communities, right? And I'm sure Simon and Monica will get to that later on. But for now, Simon, I believe you wanted us to watch another important message video.
Yes, I mean, I think thank you, Amy. The education awareness is really what matters now. And so the plan is to kickstart a movement really from the youth of Sabah, from the schools, because however much you, Amy, or Monica, or anyone sits down with an adult and says, you need to change your way with plastics, you see within about 30 seconds, their eyes roll and you lost them already. They're already looking at their phone. You're just a tree hugger, you're just a turtle hugger. And so, adults are so set in their ways. If we want to create behavior change, the kids are the best way. So we have an amazing program started by Plastic Oceans, Joe Ruxton, an old friend of mine from the BBC days. And she's the oldest campaigner for plastics. And she made a film called Plastic Oceans, which is on Netflix now. And so what we have done is we have embraced her series, and our Rethinking Plastic series is her series. Originally was Plastic Oceans, and it's now just been rebranded into Ocean Generation. And so what I'd like to do is to play the first episode of that, which is we've just translated into Bahasa Melayu with Maya Karin. Amazing voice. She's really put in a lot of time and energy to this. A great environmentalist who loves Sabah and loves the environment. really from the heart. And so this is something we're going to roll out across all schools across the whole of Malaysia. And the really exciting thing is that after the third episode, what we do is we start as a plastic detective program where little Johnny or Anwar comes home and says, Mummy, Daddy, good news. We've got to keep our plastic for a week, and they've got to understand plastic. And so it comes from a very empowering school program to a work activity at home where basically households have to collect the plastic. And obviously over that week, the idea being that as the plastic is mounting up in the corner of the studio, the house, the kampong, and basically not going to throw it back into the river. So it's going to trigger a collection process, a recycling initiative. And so it's going to be a targeted campaign. And we start off here in KK with DBKK and out on the islands, and we roll it out as much as possible across the whole of Sabah. But the idea is to roll this out across Malaysia and essentially make it Sabah leading the way with Sabah plastic neutral. But the sooner it becomes Malaysia plastic neutral across all 10,000 schools, the better. So with that said, what I'd like to do is to play the first episode, which is called Our Ocean or Lautan Kita. And it's very powerful, a little 5-minute video. And the next one is what is plastics or what are plastics? Apa itu plastic? And the next one is plastic pollution. We're not going to watch them all now, but these are what we're going to be rolling out across all the schools over the coming months with Sabah Education Department. So we play the first video, which is Lautan Kita.
The importance of the oceans. They provide us with more than half the oxygen we need. Every second breath you take comes from the oceans. They absorb much of the carbon dioxide we produce. They are an important source of protein for billions of people on the planet. Every drop of water, indeed everything we drink, has come from the oceans. The ocean is our life support system. If that system becomes dysfunctional, then all living things on this planet will suffer.
Bila anda lihat bumi dari angkasa, anda akan tahu kenapa ia dipanggil planet biru. 71% permukaan bumi diliputi oleh lautan, dan lautan amat penting untuk semua makhluk hidup. Tarik nafas 2 kali. Oksigen yang anda sedut dalam salah satu nafas itu datang dari lautan, kerana lebih separuh daripada oksigen bumi dihasilkan di lautan. Ini disebabkan oleh organisma mikroskopik yang dikenali sebagai phytoplankton. Setiap hari berbilion tumbuhan kecil ini, alga dan bakteria hasilkan oksigen melalui fotosintesis dan melepaskannya ke atmosfera. Phytoplankton juga menyerap karbon dioksida yang membantu mengatur iklim kita. Mereka adalah asas kepada jaringan makanan laut, sumber makanan kepada semua, dari sekecil zooplankton sehingga sebesar ikan paus. Mereka mungkin antara organisma terkecil di lautan, tetapi phytoplankton menggalas salah satu tugas terbesar di planet ini. Kehidupan bermula di lautan lebih 3 bilion tahun yang lalu. Hari ini, jutaan spesies tinggal di sana. Ianya biodiversity yang luar biasa, dihubungkan oleh rantaian makanan pemangsa yang mengagumkan dan hubungan yang saling berkait. Jaringan makanan di laut tidak terhad pada persekitaran marin. Hidupan liar pesisir pantai dan berbilion manusia di planet ini juga bergantung padanya sebagai sumber makanan yang penting. Bagi sebilangan negara membangun di dunia, lautan membekalkan sumber protein yang utama. Ramai orang menganggap lautan adalah tempat yang istimewa. Kita mencari laut untuk hobi dan percutian kita, untuk berehat, untuk bermain dan terukainya. Kita tertarik kepada keindahan dan kehebatannya. Ramai orang sedar dengan hanya duduk dan pandang ke lautan boleh buat mereka rasa lebih segar. Ia menenangkan dan menambah semangat kita. Ia mengingatkan bahawa kita hidup di dunia yang indah. Tahukah anda, tiada air baru dihasilkan di bumi? Jumlah air yang sama berkitar sentiasa, menyejak dari lautan hingga membentuk awan. Hujan yang turun dari awan sebagai air tawar akan kembali lagi ke lautan. Kitaran ini adalah gelung tertutup yang telah wujud berbilion tahun lamanya. Kebanyakan haiwan dan tumbuhan perlu air untuk hidup. Tanpa air tawar yang disediakan oleh lautan, kehidupan di darat tidak akan mampu untuk wujud, termasuklah manusia. 60% dari badan kita adalah air. Air yang datang dari lautan. Air adalah kehidupan. Kesejahteraan lautan amat penting untuk hidupan di bumi. Tanpa persekitaran marin yang sihat, kita tidak akan ada planet yang sihat. Dan itu akan menjejaskan kita semua. Menjaga kesihatan laut kita adalah cabaran penting bagi generasi kita. Kita semua perlu melibatkan diri untuk diri kita, rakan dan keluarga kita. Dan untuk setiap makhluk hidup yang berkongsi planet ini dengan kita.
Okay, so it's powerful messaging, but the point is we need to get this out to every single kid, and every kid will then bring that home. We're going to do that in different language versions. So we're going to do a version in Mandarin. We're going to do a version in Kadazan and Morod and Bajau, and we really the vision is to send this out to every kid, this message out to every kid across the whole of Southeast Asia. But we're starting, of course, with Sabah, but the idea is it goes out everywhere because the kids are going to lead this. The youth movement, this has to be a kids movement, and you know, the adults are so set in their ways, but the kids, you know, have the desire for change. We need to create lots of little Sir David Attenboroughs and Greta Thunbergs here in Sabah. And we can do this, but it has to start with the youth, and then the adults and the parents will follow. Amy, back to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Simon. And really hope that the video strikes any chord in all of us. And I'm sure when it comes to the kids, they're gonna have more awareness, hopefully, after watching that video, on how we all play a role in helping to reduce this devastating impact of plastic on our environment. All right, moving on to the next agenda. Well, other than Blue Hope, Simon and Monica, we also have someone from Borneo Forum to speak on behalf of the issues, especially as Ken mentioned earlier on and described earlier on. Borneo Forum focuses very much on highlighting what are some of the issues that Bornean issues, right? And I think only recently, I think we are prioritizing environmental issues as one of the issues that we face in our region. And we are very lucky to have amongst our audience someone who is a climate expert, I would say, right? Boyd D. German, Director of Climate, Energy and Resilient Environments for the Borneo Organization Limited, London, UK. Just a little bit of description before he takes over the stage, our virtual stage. Boyd is a chartered town planner with over 35 years of experience in climate action planning and management, urban planning, and environmental planning and management in Malaysia and abroad. He is a senior expert on sustainable urban development, low carbon cities, land use planning, and energy projects. All of these things are things that we wish to see being materialized in this part of the world, here in our beloved Sabah. Please welcome Boyd D. German.
Okay, thank you, Amy, and good day, everyone. Welcome to this forum. It's one that we've always been doing for the last 1 year plus. We are very passionate people on this program, and of course the team, right from Ken to Simon to Alan to Richard and I, we want to do something, of course, as we all do. But more importantly is we're not just talking. We want to do something and make a big difference in a small way or in a big way. And it's not just done here in Sabah, but also in the whole world. We can be an example to shine for everybody else. What I'm bringing to here is, of course, a lot has already been said by my two colleagues just now, and of course, Amy as well, in terms of what has been, what we plan to do, what we have done, and the passion behind that, really critical and very important. For my part, I want to just share with you that in situations that I've already been involved in, i.e., I've been working with Iskandar Malaysia in Johor, and as you know, one of the 5 economic corridors. And here, we didn't just talk about it, because we talked about it literally about 10 years ago. We have been doing that since then. So what I'm giving you is a snapshot, if you like, of what has been done in Iskandar Malaysia, what I have done as part of that, because I was in charge of the environmental planning of Iskandar Malaysia on Sabah, which is great. And I'm very happy with that. And the things that I bring from Sabah and from working in the UK and Brunei and other places is how it can be transformed in one location called Iskandar Malaysia. And from there, it transpired into lots of other places. And other places means globally. And I think Amy has already mentioned about what I have been doing, so I'm not going to go into that, but more on what has been done and what we can do next. So I'd like to invite Jonas. I got a couple of slides just to share and to give you an idea of what I have in mind. Now, I start with this one. As you can see, I only got 3 slides, but for the first slide, I'm assuming all of you, or most of you, know this person.
Wally.
Yeah? Okay. Now, this is important because although it's only an image, obviously, but it could happen one day. I'm sure it won't, but it's up to us to make the difference, us as the people of the planet. And we're talking about one planet because at the moment, we can't go with Elon Musk to Mars. We can only stay in this planet and do something with it. And we start with Sabah or with Borneo. And this picture, I'm sharing this because this guy is looking upward to something better because he is sitting on a ton of rubbish, which is for the whole of planet Earth. So you can imagine, give you an idea of how much rubbish we are throwing with 7-8 billion people coming fairly soon, and more of that. And it's something that we need to latch on. And I think the story has already been retold. And as Amy says, what's so special about this forum and what Simon and Monica were saying about how polluted Sabah is. I noticed that a long time back because it's a passion of mine. And I noticed because I work in Sabah for quite a bit. And it's in Sim Sim, it's in Semporna, and of course in KK and other places. So it's not as if we haven't seen this before. It's a lot of things to be done. Now, what this picture says is we could do something better. We could go beyond what we can do normally every day. And I'll come back to that later on about picking up rubbish as you go along. Jonas, second picture, please. Now, just back to the first picture, as you can recall, the OECD only this week said only 10% globally, of course, of the plastic around planet is recycled. Can you imagine that 10%? So it means it confirms as we all know already, what Monica was saying about how polluted our beaches are. We can do that every day, but it still comes back. And there's a lot everywhere that's happening. So this is the crux of the problem and how big it is. What we need to do as listeners in this is, and as captains of your own industries, if you like, and what kind of business you are in, you can do something about this and do it in a small way, whether it can be giving some cash, doing it yourselves, do more than CSR, go pick up the rubbish, but do something more than that rubbish, right up to how you can do it positively. Lots of things can be done. So what I'm saying is a lot of passion needs to go into this and to be done. And this next picture, Jonas, is just an ideal, if you like, and it can be done. And I'm borrowing a picture which I prepared in Iskandar, Malaysia when I started in 2008. And we started this program called Low Carbon Society there in 2009. Second slide, Jonas. This picture, the second one, just shows you that today Sabah is this, as you know, high society and very low sustainability. What can be done about that? And you can see the buildings there are very much what it is now. Too many cars and all sorts of things. What we want, of course, is tomorrow's Sabah, i.e. climate resilience and working with nature, nature-based solutions, circular economy, living in harmony with nature. That's how we should be doing. And that's where our passion of our speakers so far. But I'm sure the listeners also has this idea in mind. Now, the vehicle that I can see on this one is called the Sabah Climate Action Plan. And I will focus on that in the next slide. But just give you the picture of all this timeline between now and 2030, where we could potentially be carbon neutral if we are following that kind of trend. And how we do that is important. So my last slide, I just give you a snapshot of what I have done in Iskandar, Malaysia, and since, because I'm no longer there, I'm working together with other entities, as it were. One of them that I feel very strongly about that can be done in Sabah is what's called Eco Life Challenge for Schools, which was done in Iskandar, Malaysia. This one is very much involving primary school children. We started with only about a handful of schools in Iskandar, Malaysia, which about 5 local authorities. Today, it's the whole of the state of Johor that's doing this, and more than, I think, 40,000 students, primary school students. That's a huge thing. And when you guys talk about, and Simon and Monica and others, think about this and talk about how we're going to involve others and schools, this is the next stage. So this is my proposal to add to what Blue Hope is already doing in a very remarkable way, i.e. come up with a plan of doing something like this. It's still going on. We started this here in Iskandar, Malaysia in 2014. It's still going on, it's getting stronger. It's actually going beyond Iskandar, Malaysia. It's gone beyond Johor. It's now in KL. It's going to be in other parts of Indochina, for example. And I think it's even starting in Semarang in Indonesia. So this is how big this can be. What it can do is, 1, awareness, 2, getting the kids involved. And by doing that, the way we've done it is the kids and the parents and the schools and the community got involved eventually. And that's the idea. It's not just the kids telling their parents or telling off their parents, but the parents getting really, really involved. And it's a huge competition. I'm hoping that one day this year, when Iskandar, Malaysia, or IRDA in this case, Iskandar Regional Development Authority, where I worked before, do this program, I think it's in September, July or September, we should go, we should come and join it. And I can bring you there, or I can bring you here, actually come here now. And then we can see how big it is and how strong the message is. Because after it's done, the message then goes out to other parts of the world, literally. I have brought this ELC project to 3 COPs, conference, UNFCCC conference, and including Glasgow. I wasn't there, but my friends were there. I was also in Marrakesh, where we shared that. And I talked about it a lot. So we can do the same thing, Simon and Monica and Amy and Ken and others. We can do the same thing when we go to Cairo in November. When, not if. Because I'm hoping that we can go there and talk about ELC, not only as they did it in Iskandar, Malaysia, because I'm sure they'll talk about that again. But more importantly, in Sabah or in KK. So we start a passion and get it going. We of course need the help of the education department, who plays a big role here in Iskandar, Malaysia. So the players here are state government. I even helped create what's called a Johor Low Carbon Council. And in Sabah, we can do the same thing and make it a going entity. And you need permanence, because you need the right people. And it's not just coming from Blue Hope, but from everyone, like Monica was saying. Everyone should be involved. Everyone here, from Mutu to all the passionate people in this forum, can do something about it. So this is my pledge and my belief in everyone here to go forward and do something about this one. The other one I'd like to talk about is a little bit on funding, where the EU, European Union, has the funds called the GAP Fund through the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy, for which I was team leader for a short time last year. This one can provide us the ways and means to get some cash to get things going, whether it's the filters or other programs relating to the environment. The other one that I want to talk now is relating to what's called circular economy, which a club that I started in Penampang, although of course I'm part and parcel of a bigger entity globally and in Malaysia. So this is another area where we can focus on getting involved. My friend here, Bani Lasimbang, is also part of the circular economy of Penampang. So this is another area that we can focus on and can be the conduits for Blue Hope's passion and getting forward with the communities and the schools, because we know that a lot of schools are very, very strong in this kind of thing. In Sabah, actually, to be honest with you, not only in Iskandar, Malaysia, but actually Sabah is doing pretty well in Malaysia, from my point of view, because we have done quite a lot, but it's piecemeal. St. Michael's, Penampang, Peter Majuntin School, they have won awards, by the way, but they're also by schools rather than coordinated in such a way that they become a strong focus, like we have done for Johor. So this is something that I want to share, and I will be happy to get this forward and get it done for our part of the world. So it's for Sabah, because I'm very passionate about it. I'm right from a small village called Kampung Bahang in Penampang, and it hasn't changed very much, although a lot of buildings, but I believe that the people are still there and the passion of people is still there. However, they need the impetus and the focus to be able to do this. And we, as passionate people, should be the ones who can help them out. So this is my plea to everyone. So essentially, that's the story that I'm giving. It's no longer talking about it or greenwashing, if you like. This is already done in Iskandar, Malaysia. The template is there and it's being emulated by other places. Can you imagine that Johor or Iskandar, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur City Council is following us? So why not? It's because we have started it and we are possibly one of the best examples in Malaysia, possibly the best examples. So why not Sabah or Penampang to begin with? And we build from there. If we're going to do Pulau Gaya, let's do that, Simon and Monica, and get people driven by it and make things happen. If we're going to do it with Shangri-La, with Star, let's do it beach cleaning. If we go to Sempurna, let's do that and make it really tangible. We have to make a start. The money, I believe, is not that critical, although it's necessary, but it's not critical. I'll come back to the money later on if there's time, but for now, that's my sharing. Okay, Meg, Simon, and Amy, thank you very much.
Amy, you're on mute. What do you think? Isn't that amazing? Amazing, Sabhan, been working hard in Johor, done incredible stuff, but we need Boyd back here.
Yeah. Come back to Sabah, Boyd, so we can do more and work together with Simon.
Yeah, Boyd. Yeah, but definitely we can do that, because let me share something. Because Blue Hope, why we talk about plastic and never-ending story, because we have a whole lot more program for different geography, different landscape, different location for different community, different youth around Sabah, which I'm sure everyone knows. Why plastic first? Because we can't we can't do anything. We can't plant veggie. We cannot plant any fruit trees on top of the plastic waste, which is 8 to 10 feet depth
The soil,
on the landfill.
in our soil.
Yeah, there's no soil, so we can't do it. Then that's why Blue Hope need to get rid of the plastic first, make it valuable. Then we can connect, we can plug in with all others activity. Definitely, I'm gonna do it. Do that void in Pulau Gaya.
Great.
Yeah, make it happen.
Yes, I just want to share one more thing because I just realized I've spoken about this before, but one of the ways you're going to make people aware immediately, I'm talking about rubbish, okay? Take half of the mountain in Kayu Madang, put it in the middle of Gaya Street. Just dump the whole thing in Gaya Street.
I love it.
A lot of people will suddenly go, they won't complain anymore because they can't see it. This time is right in front of them and they're going to be a hell of a protest. So they'll get rid of that very quickly. That's how you make people aware.
Because that's one of the biggest problems, right? People throw, assuming, oh, it's something that I don't see anymore, so it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
But how, if you really collect, and I know Monica and a lot of us who collect plastic to clean and to recycle know this. Our use of plastic in family of 5 in 1 week lah, pun boleh jadi bukit sudah.
Yep.
And yeah, so but a lot of people just throw it in a dumpster without segregating, without cleaning, and so they can't see the severity of the problem, right?
Yeah, I agree with Boyd. If we can do it, let's do it. Because I myself, I've been to on top of the mountain of the West in Kayu Madang more than 10 times.
Yes.
I've been there. Whoever in KK want to go, I can take you there. There you walk with me to the mountain of the West of our trash all over KK until Kota Blut and Penampang. It's horrifying. It's terrible. No, we need to reduce this. Yeah, we need to take out we need to reduce as much as possible. Our land in Sabah is not for all our garbage, right? We need to do it together. Mari, siapa mau join?
And Antipati ni sudah pergi satu kali, tidak mau sudah bau sekali. Satu kilometer boleh tercium sudah. So yeah, anyway, I think I've been a rude moderator for not paying attention to the questions that we have been receiving. Actually, we've received a couple of comments and questions in the chat box. Thank you so much. Do keep them coming. I think we can make a bit of time later on for some Q&A, right?
Definitely.
But for now, we will address those questions later. I see a couple of interesting ones asking, especially as individuals, how we can help. And some people also, another commenter also have a question about the Water is Life program. Okay, so all this talk is great, right? How about funding? How about money? How much does it cost to make these things happen? And it's very interesting also that we are talking about giving some value to plastic. How does that happen? What do you mean by people are going to start picking up trash like plastic and then earn money from that? How does that work?
Well, I think the reality is that people are going to look back on this decade and it'll be called the decade of plastic because from the data we've been looking at, we've been working with Track, amazing organization down in Semporna, who have been doing a daily beach clean of their 100 meters of beach, and the amount of plastic has been increasing. And extrapolating that data, we realized that there's between 20 to 30 tons of plastic arriving on Sabah shores every single day on an incoming tide. Now, the reality is that plastic is all wrapped up in a different configuration. So right now you have millions of kids walking past plastic on the way to school every day because it has no meaning. It's single-use plastic. But the reality is that in the next 2-3 years, that'll be like walking past a 1 ringgit bill. It will have value. So what we're looking to do is to create that value here in Sabah with a couple of pilots. So our agreement with DBKK is to start a couple of showcase projects where we can turn plastic into something of value. And I'm just going to share and finish the rest of my presentation just so that you can see essentially what I mean. So what we're looking to do is to start the first ever quantitative. Can everyone see that? Thumbs up. Everyone see that? Yep. Amy, can you see that, Amy? Yeah. So, so what we're going to do, you know, the last 3-4 decades, we have this, the gotong royongs of the past, and Pulau Gaya are very familiar with the gotong royong. There's been hundreds over the last few decades, and everyone goes out there, cleans the beaches, and it's a big rah-rah show, and then everyone goes home to the comfort of their living rooms back in KK, and the poor islanders then have to either burn it or sweep it into under the sand again. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kickstart a quantitative and qualitative beach clean where we actually analyze the amount of plastic coming in on an incoming tide. And so essentially what we want to show the islanders and show Sabahans that 20 to 30 tons of plastic actually has value. And there are millions of people cleaning plastic every day all around the world, but they're just cleaning up. What we need to do is actually show what that value is to them. So that is what we're going to start. We're going to be starting, we were planning to do the first one last week or 2 weeks ago, but we've just had another COVID spike, obviously. But on the back of DBKK's Love KK program, that will be restarted once we're all able to get out and start cleaning. But essentially working with TRAC and working with UMS, we're going to do the first quantitative beach clean, where we actually clean the beach, and then we come back the next day and see how much plastic comes in. And then we'll put it into different types of plastic and show what the value is. And then we're going to do the same out on Pulau Gaya and out in Tart Park. And this will be the world seeing and actually what this value means. So that's an important next step to show people the value of plastic. We're kickstarting a sustaining Sabah messaging campaign with our core partners, media partners, Daily Express, Asia Times, and a few others. We'll be doing a lot on social media, and we're doing this weekly from next month onwards, where it'll be a big message. It's not just about plastic, it's about protecting the environment, sustainable, basically everyone, each one and every one of us living more sustainably, and really going from a linear economy to a circular economy. So what we need to do is show what that means out on Pulau Gaya. And Pulau Gaya is where it starts. All roads lead back to Pulau Gaya because that is the place where you have amazing biodiversity, and you still have whale sharks coming in March, April. You've got turtles and sharks. You've got proboscis monkeys and hornbills. You come up from a dive and there's Mount Kinabalu, there's Hong Kong Bank, 10 minutes away. The only capital city on the planet where you have that biodiversity. So we have to protect that biodiversity. We have to showcase that biodiversity. And so it really starts here in KK, but it's really Sabah plastic neutral. And we're very keen that we kind of project this Sabah coalition to the rest of the world, and the world will support us. And there's no doubt about that. We had the French ambassador here last week, and we're going to listen to him in a minute. But our pilot is essentially starting collection, processing and converting into something of value, stopping the leakage, obviously getting the funding in, and then community education, public awareness. And obviously dovetailing this with the new waste enactment from local government and housing, which we tabled with Sabah government in April, we believe. And so it's doing all these things together and showcasing Sabah moving forwards and then scaling up. But we have to start with KK. And everyone in this conversation, everyone on this webinar, it's down to all of us. You know, here we are at 4:15 on a Saturday afternoon because we care, we're passionate, and we love it, and we're very passionate, and we love KK. And it's down to everyone in the room, so to speak, who can do this together. And it's the kids that will drive this. It's the women leaders, you know, Monica, you, Amy. We've got some amazing people, Datu Mayor, first mayor, female mayor. You know, these are the leaders. We've got another amazing lady, Tulip, on this webinar, one of the key people driving sustainability here in Sabah, who's now going to be leading the Clean KK movement. And it's down to everyone working together. And it's incredibly exciting. And Sabah really, it's an amazing movement we're going to start, and we've got support from different governments. So the idea is to start with Kids, Waters, Life, Rethinking Plastics, rolling that out across all schools in the next 2 years. We can't do that from here, just little Blue Hope. We're going to be aligning with partners down in Sandakan, in Tawau, other NGOs to roll out this program. And we're going to do quantitative beach cleans of Likas Bay, Pulau Gaya, and we're going to be doing these monthly, really from next month onwards. We'd hoped to start 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately, because COVID, that was set back. So it's really Sabah leading the way with Sabah plastic neutral, but that will very quickly become Malaysia plastic neutral, and Borneo plastic neutral will follow. Because as much as we get 4 or 5 million people recycling and not throwing away their plastic in Sabah, we're at the whim of everyone on the island. We happen to be part of the 3rd biggest island in the world, the most biodiverse piece of real estate in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's our opportunity for Sabah and Kota Kinabalu to lead the charge. And that's why Borneo Forum is a perfect platform for this, because it's KK leading the way. And we've got some amazing partners. Obviously, as you've seen, we've got a real coalition with different ministries, local government housing, and local Ministry of Tourism and Culture and Environment, working with the likes of DBKK and Sabah Parks, and of course, Sabah Education Department. But the British High Commission has very much supported the French Embassy, Belgium Embassy, and the German Embassy. The German Embassy have just introduced us to an NGO who are going to start sending us beach clean teams and boats to help clean Sabah. So it's amazing. But I'd like to just point to the French Embassy, who've been our biggest supporter, and the ambassador, His Excellency Roland Galharg, who was here last week. We were in fact going to have 4 or 5 ambassadors, but because of COVID, it was whittled down to just the French ambassador. He still came. It was amazing. He said some amazing things. He came to our launch, and what I like to do is just play the video. He supported us from the beginning, end of 2020, and I'd like to play the video, which is him, what he was saying at the beginning, and at the end of the video, here's what he said last Friday when he left. And I'm really excited to say that they're triggering a grant to kickstart the education awareness. Can't say too much about it because we've got to get some other partners on board, but they're basically triggering everything, and it's incredibly exciting. So Jonas, if you could just play that last video and we can hear it from the French ambassador himself. Two clips from before and having been to Sabah last week.
The topic you are discussing is very important, I think indeed vital to many species, not least our own. Let me start by congratulating Blue Hope for their Sabah-Plastic Neutral initiative, and let me also commend Fonto Vivo for combining ingenuity with invention and coming up with a simple scheme to provide access to drinkable water. But oceans, of course, are a common good to mankind. They provide climate regulation to our planet, they provide livelihood, they provide food, and not least, they provide beauty. So they need to be rescued, and the fight to save oceans from plastic waste has to be part and parcel of the fight against climate change. In short, the growth of plastic production has now completely outstripped the abilities of waste management. If nothing is done, we will be facing a continent of trash bigger than Europe 20 years from now. So we need to act. We need to act at all levels and in each and every way. There are no big and no small efforts, but efforts are needed. Sabah has this incredible biodiversity and this incredible variety of people, which is why we believe in Sabah Plastic Neutral, because it's all about people. It's all about bringing value to plastics, all at the service of preserving biodiversity.
So very exciting, because as Excellency Roland said, it's all about people. This is about Sabahans, it's about people. And we have this amazing opportunity now to take the plastic which has been littering our shores and had no value, and we're using every day, to make it valuable and the new food on the table for a lot of people. There's a lot of people really struggling out in the communities, throwing fish bombs, catching turtles, catching pangolins, really threatening biodiversity, because they wake up in the morning, they have got 7 or 8 mouths to feed, they don't have a roof overhead, they don't have a fridge to go to. If that was the only way I could feed my 3 kids, guess what? I'd be throwing fish bombs. So we've got to really make this an equalizer. And this is our opportunity. It's really about championing the opportunity from Sabah, which, let's face it, has more value in terms of biodiversity than any other location. So this really is Sabah's opportunity, and it's incredibly exciting. And everyone on this webinar can take part, and we're really looking forward to engaging and harnessing the momentum with the support from the French Embassy, from the German Embassy, from the European Union. We've got the European ambassador coming over here soon, and this really is a great movement that's going to elevate Sabah and with the rest of the world watching and following and supporting from here on. Amy, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. And if we are going by the time that was allocated for this entire thing, we have about 10 minutes left, and I don't think we have time to do or go through many questions, but I believe some of them have already been directly replied to, answered in the chat box itself. You know, we have questions from Aizan. I think I saw one just now, him asking about a collective effort on, is there like a central information place that we can go to look at where do all of these NGOs, environmental NGOs and movements and campaigns are can be contacted, right? And I think Monica has already answered that, right? And I see one here, Doreen Benjamin, the supermarkets are so eager to give customers for their bought goods. Can it be enforced to reduce use? I think that's already been done a lot, right? And yeah, and I've been saying this a lot as well. Businesses creating stuff in plastic packagings need to be put to accountability as well. And that's really something that that will take a more holistic approach, you know, from the policymakers to business operators. Because kalau nak kena bagi dalam plastik, sebenarnya pengguna pun tidak juga ambil kan, tidak juga beli kan. I think there's a very responsibility disregarding of the way businesses are conducting their packagings. Where dorang bungkus, let's say mineral water bottles, for example. Dorang bungkus saja, they sell it to you, they get the money, and they're like, oh, that's your problem already. And I think that should change. I also see questions asking about beach cleaning, asking where they can volunteer. Of course, there are many groups that are doing that, but I urge you to be courageous enough to organize your own. I just organized one with the Taman kids in our residential place. You know, beach cleaning, and it's not just the beaches that we need to clean plastic. You want to organize cleanups? Do it in your own community. Bring your own kids, bring your own family, do it yourself, bring your own plastic bag and go pungut sampah sendiri. And even the more people in the community see that, I believe the more inspired they will be, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter how many movements and campaigns are created, it's up to our individual effort and our household responsibilities to reduce the waste. So kita yang create kan juga, so kita lah juga yang kena start untuk buat semua ini. But to the speakers, Simon, Monica, and Boyd, is there any questions from our forum, from our audience that you would like to respond to personally?
Well, we've got. I see a couple of hands up. I just wanted to before we answer these questions, I just want to do one more screen share with the last slide, which is just to reiterate what I was saying, that that it's down to everyone working together. It's a collaboration. So this is the last page, which is all of our sponsors. So we have a great network, global network. So once we start doing our global, our beach cleaning, we'll be bringing that to world with Facebook Live, and people will start seeing Sabah cleaning up and preparing for the return of tourism. And then obviously we've got Daily Express with UMS, who'll be helping us from an academic perspective, showing what the plastic situation is now. We're bringing in sustainable straws and different alternative products made out of rice and tapioca. And this is an idea to try and kickstart our own environmental packaging created here in Sabah. We've got beach cleaning from the Germans, One Earth, One Ocean. Forest Solutions are our forestry partners. We're going to kickstart some projects within their plantations. Track, obviously, I've talked about. Sabah International Convention Center. They're the perfect location to have this international discussion. We had an amazing launch they supported us with last week. And we're going to be doing more events with SICC very soon. Bigger, larger events showcasing what's happening in Sabah. Working with YTL out on Pulau Gaya. They're keen to support. Obviously, they've got a resort they need to open, so they're interested in cleaning up Pulau Gaya as well. And then we have the amazing group down in Kinabatangan, Benoit and his team, Danau Garang Field Center, where we're going to kickstart a river project, protecting rivers across the whole of Sabah. So it's working together, really, collaboration, and we'll be in touch very soon. If you go to the Blue Hope website, there's an email that you can contact us on there. But we're going to be launching our first beach cleans probably next month. We've got to re-engage with DBKK now, make sure we synchronize it properly. But yes, we'll be looking for volunteers. We'll be looking for about 100 volunteers to do 2 days of beach cleaning in out on around Likas, and then we'll be doing that. And over time, we're actually going to be able to start paying people to collect plastic as well. But it will start off with a volunteer movement, and then it's going to expand to people actually creating a movement for people to collect on a weekly basis and really clean up KK and the whole of Sabah's beaches over the coming months. I'm going to throw questions out to, I see Boyd and Mutu have their hands up. And
I think Mutu first.
Okay, Mutu, over to you.
Thank you, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, no, just very short because there's no time. I will get in touch with Simon and Monica about my experience. I've been trying to bring awareness for the last 30 years, rural area, urban area. Over the last 18 years, more restricted to KK. So maybe I can just share my experience with them so they don't have to repeat the same mistake. Government has launched a lot of environmental programs, a lot of educational programs. But the problem with government programs is angat-angat tai ayam, hot chicken shit. That means it goes on for a while and that's it. It dies off. And somebody have to come and start something. I'm so happy that
Excuse me, Simon, can you take off your screen sharing, please?
Sorry. Thanks, Rich. Sorry,
Yeah.
Craig.
I'm so glad that Blue Hope has come into the scene. I hope this will be a consistent thing. I'm willing to help whatever I can. Okay, because Sabahans by nature are good people. The awareness is there. Actually, now it's no more a problem of awareness. It is a problem of what you call enforcement. Because after awareness, after education, you need to have example. The example must come from top down. Ministers, any government function you organize, no plastic. No excuses, no plastic. That's one way. Schools, many of the schools are now zero plastic schools. That's very good. UMS, very good. But others must follow. Government ministers must follow. When they go shopping, do they keep carriers in their car so that when they tap out food, they don't use plastic? All this has to come in. I fought a hard battle to get a hospital to change from polystyrene. Now they're using plastic. I'm trying to get them to change from plastic to paper packing material. That's one thing. And then finally, you need enforcement. The BKK has a lot of laws, but none of them are enforcement. You throw rubbish, $500 fine. Have they ever fined anybody for throwing rubbish? None. So all this must be taken into account. No hot air action. You don't have to fine a poor guy 500. Give him a warning. Do community work. That kind of thing. We discuss later. I'm willing to give my time next week. Discuss with you all. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mutu.
Thanks, Mutu.
Thank you, Mutu.
Wonderful.
Always wonderful to have you.
Yeah.
How about
Okay,
you?
Amy, I just want to say something for everyone. It's because we are running out of time in here, but
Yeah.
here's a challenge to you guys. Very simple, okay, for everyone. I.e., when you go out and throw your rubbish in the community bin or in front of you, consciously pick up just 5 pieces of rubbish. It can be a cigarette butt, it can be a something small, but pick them up, just 5 items and put it in the bin somewhere on your way to work or whatever. So that's your challenge for you guys, because for this one, I can say I've been doing that all the time. I live in an apartment. So when I go down to put in the community bin, I literally take, this is not my idea, by the way, somebody else's idea, but I pick 5 pieces of small items. It's up to you lah. It can be clean one or dirty one, up to you. But you pick it up, put it in your rubbish bag, put it in the bin. Now I do 10. So you start small. What I'm saying is it can be done, but it has to come from you guys, from each of us, from each of our children to do that. My son Archie, he knows where our recycle bin is in the house and where the rubbish bin is. So we're teaching him. So it's still a learning process, but that's how you do it. Do start small. And the same thing with the funding, Simon and others. You don't need a lot of money to start a campaign. You can just bring them together. Some of the work that we've done with schools in Iskandar, Malaysia, when I was there, we did 2 or 3 projects with just 15,000 or even 5,000. It can be done, and it just involves people to do it. If everyone gives 2 ringgit, 10 ringgit to a campaign, can you imagine that kalau banyak orang getting involved? It's small, but it can make a big difference in the long run. And at the same time, you make people more aware of what's happening. So this is the challenge for you guys. From today or tomorrow, start picking 5 pieces of rubbish on your way.
Yeah, and to add on to that, the challenge should not be just on pungut sampah. It's also on reducing our reliance on plastic. Challenge yourselves to do that in everything we do every day, right? So yeah, thank you, Boyd. And Simon,
stop blaming plastic. The blame should go to us. Plastic is not the culprit.
It's us. It's what we do with it.
Yeah. And one more thing, I think Boyd got the right thing. Start from young, kindergarten, primary school, even kindergarten can be done. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If I may ask possibly a final question, Simon.
Yeah, hi, Ken. Hi, sure.
Yes, I think we are almost towards the end of our session. Fantastic, all the comments there. Simon, being a Borneo Forum, naturally, I would like to ask you, what's your vision of involving the other regions in Borneo, Sarawak, Brunei, Labuan, all the 5 provinces in Borneo?
Well, as I said earlier, thanks for that. It's a great question. I mean, I think we're not going to rest. Blue Hope will not rest until we achieve Borneo plastic neutral. But it starts with KK plastic neutral. It all sounds very ambitious, but as I said, the reality is that KK can lead the charge, and as you say, Nusantara is being built now. So what we're looking to do is throw down the gauntlet to at least 6 cities in Kalimantan, and for them to be plastic neutral before Nusantara is built. And so you have 6 cities in Kalimantan. You have Kota Kinabalu. We're going to be kickstarting Labuan plastic neutral shortly, and Sarawak plastic neutral, and Borneo plastic neutral. We're going to have 10 locations racing to become plastic neutral before the end of UNESCO Ocean Decade 2030. Incredibly challenging, but we can do it. I believe we can do it. And little KK is leading the charge. It's incredibly exciting. And the fact that that plastic has value, it means that everyone will catch on. Everyone will do this in their own time. But it's opportunities. This is Sabah's opportunity, KK's opportunity. But the idea is to kickstart Borneo plastic neutral. And so we're looking to actually announce that later this year, around about June, July, once we can show we've got some action on the ground here in KK. But certainly through Borneo Forum, Ken, is connect with 2 or 3 of our colleagues in Kalimantan, as well as triggering a response in Sarawak. And then it becomes a really healthy, positive challenge. It's a race. It's a race for the first location to become plastic neutral first. That's the ambition.
Wow. I'm so glad to hear that, Simon. And we are here right at the forefront as the Borneo Forum, supporting you all the way. In fact, of course, you are part of us now. Yes. Thank you very much for the fantastic answer.
But just one other thing. I mean, it's more than a campaign. It's a movement. It's a platform. This is a platform. It's a global platform, and we're going to have a new revamp of our website and all the beach cleans and the various things that are going on. We're going to be filming this more or less on a weekly basis from later this year onwards, and so people will be able to watch and see Sabah leading charge with little KK. But it starts off in Pulau Gaya, as I say. All roads lead back to Pulau Gaya. Until we clean Pulau Gaya, we've got to start. So it's really, this is the movement. And I just like to point. We have Tulip. I'm going to throw it to you, Tulip. I'm sorry to do that to you, but very exciting to have you on board. But essentially, we're going to be launching Clean KK soon. And I think the timing of this couldn't be better. And the fact that you're on the call, maybe you can just give us a bit of a heads up of what's on the cards, because it's about to start within the next 2 or 3 weeks, right? With your leadership. Can I just give you the microphone for 5, 10, 20 seconds, please? Hi, Tulip. Say hello to everyone.
Thank you, Simon. Wow, you're really putting me on the spot.
Sorry about
Actually, I love KK was supposed to have been launched on the 14th of February, but because of the pandemic, it has been postponed. So one of the components of I Love KK is I Love Clean KK. You have I Love Beautiful KK and the rest. And as I mentioned in the chat group, in our I Love Clean KK, we have anti-littering, we have the recycling, upcycling, awareness, the waste management, the community waste management, river and sea management, and awareness, and also a plastic neutral. So that's why I'm working very closely with Simon here, and I'm so glad that one portion of the component of I Love Clean KK is really under good hands, and Ruth is heading the awareness program. Thank you, Ruth. So with all the support, and we hope this will sail. This is for 2 years, so hopefully we can see a cleaner KK. For the anti-littering, definitely DBKK has to manage this, because they have the authority to do the fine, because it's like Mutu said, there's no more hanga tek ayam. We have all the bylaws. They have to enforce it, right? They have to use a whip, whatever they have to do, but they need to get moving, right? So there's a lot, like even Monica mentioned, there's some areas where they clean up at night and they dump it in the river, and it's happening right in KK. They dump in the sea. So all this needs to stop. They need to open their eyes, and we need to work together as a team to clean up KK and beautify it. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Tulip. I wanted to hear that from you, really, in response to your question, Mutu, because you've been banging the drum for the last 20, 30 years and not seeing the movement, but this is really time to make a change. So you know, with Tulip and Ruth and Monica, the ladies gonna whip the men into action, and with the kids we're really gonna get some real traction. The wheel's gonna stop spinning and we're gonna get some movement. So very exciting times. I think probably Amy will pass to you. I think we started 10 minutes late, so we've got another 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll just pass to Ken for a final. But back to you, Amy, and then you could pass the ball back to Ken.
Yes, I would like to, I believe that was a very fruitful discussion we had. I wish we had more of that bantering, right? I wish we had dedicated more time with that, because I think that's where the real changes will happen. You know, like just listening from everybody. What is the problem? I mean, like we all agree that this is nothing new. Ini bukan sesuatu yang baru. Lama sudah bertahun-tahun, berdekat-dekat sudah kita go through. So what has been the problem? And so thank you for Mutu for bringing those things up. And Thank you, Tulip, also for this is like a middle ground where everybody just meets, NGOs, policymakers, and household individuals, families like all of us, to just come together. And I truly believe that there should be more of this kind of platform. But beyond this, let's hope that it's more than just the talk, and really each and every one of us to just walk out of this room today and really take a look and have that orang bilang awareness, have that awareness to just pause before our next use of plastic and think about, okay, how can I do better in this? Knowing what I know now, learning what I've learned today from this forum, how can I do better? One single plastic, sekecil-kecil manapun, even a cigarette butt, right? It makes a difference of what to do with it. Because then that will be the first baby step to huge elephant steps later on. So thank you, everybody. Hopefully our audience have gained something out of this. And apologies for those of you whose comments that we did not get to read out or share, but we truly appreciate you for sharing them anyway. And we truly appreciate you for showing up today. Good job. Kudos, everybody. It's a Saturday, and yet we choose to spend it here. So good job, everybody. And thank you for this opportunity. Hope to see you out there making a difference. And back to Ken of Borneo Forum.
No Photoshop?
Yes, Photoshop. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yes, let's do that. Okay. Yeah, please do it, Boyd and Richard.
Photo.
Come online, everybody. Show your faces.
Show your face. Thumbs up, everyone. Big thumbs up.
Kamera kamu semua.
Pasang kamera semua. Pasang kamera. Jangan malu-malu. Kita ba ini?
Kita juga ba ini?
Kita juga ba ini?
Kurang juga semua ini. Tidak alien.
Yeah, 3 pages. Wow. How wonderful is this? How wonderful is this? I'm seeing even my old classmates, my boarding mate from LaSalle. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Okay. What can I say? I'm so almost oh gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so proud what we have achieved today. In a small way, we have 60 people. We have more than 100 people registered. Last forum, we had more than 200 people registered. Yes, some of them did not turn up, but I'm sure we'll get the notifications. But the point is, we are a catalyst. We are starting this in a small way, facilitating the discussion as the Borneo Forum, Pan Borneo, a movement, so to speak. And today, I'm particularly very, very proud because today's forum is full not only about talk, but about passionate action being taken for real, especially by our none other Simon. I mean, it took an Englishman from Kent in England to fall in love with Borneo, Sabah. I'm sure he fell in love with a lady first before, or whichever, but it doesn't matter. He is in love and he is a Sabahan, he's a Bornean now, and we have him among our midst. And thank you very much, Simon, for all you're doing. I am here in London all the way to support you. In fact, I live about 5 minutes walk from Richmond Park. That's where Mr. our Sir David Attenborough is. In fact, I just met him recently as well, not personally, but from a distance. So I'm very, very near and hopefully to see you in London soon. But fantastic. I'm so grateful all of you to joining this forum. I cannot summarize. I think there's so many things there. Boyd as well. It's been said that there's no expert on climate change in Sabah, and I say no, we do. In Boyd German, the expert, the experienced person, been in London for many years as a town planner. Now a hugely experienced person. So grateful to have you, Boyd, and of course Monica, Amy. Thank you very much for being involved. Thank you, everyone. Now, I would like to just hint for the next forum, Borneo Forum 15 in March. I would like to tail off from here, continue the discussion, and none other than the issue of funding. I'm a bit more passionate about funding, fundraising. It's an area that I'm very passionate about. my research primarily is in law, the use of law as a good cause. I'm from the Chicago School of Law court, where we look at how to use law for good causes, not just as a regulatory regime. That converts into the use of business as a force for good. And as a movement here, especially my involvement in the Oxford University, the School of Social Enterprise. I believe social enterprise is the brilliant model for us to be able to do both things, for profit and also for good causes. And that's an area I may even beam from side business school from Oxford University, where I usually visit as a visiting scholar as well, and in Oxford University. So very much, there's a lot of resources in the UK. I'm here, you can connect. I spent some time in Cambridge University and as well as Oxford University, as well as London School of Economics and School of Oriental and African Studies. That's where I'm primarily based as a researcher. And funding, it's an area I'm passionate about. I'm the vice president of a financial education company as well, based in UK and also Dubai. I spent time in Dubai and Istanbul as well. So there's a lot of things we could explore, especially the funding. And I would like to narrow it down instead of just looking at grants, capital, loans, donations, and government involvement funding. I would like to explore P2P, peer-to-peer funding. Crowdfunding is called. It's very much an infancy in Malaysia, but it's already very widely used throughout the world, not only to raise equity funding, but also donations for nonprofit or the in-between. Product creation, hugely funded by Kickstarters, Indiegogo, and all that. If you're familiar with the crowdfunding platforms, it's an exciting way for us to raise funds. So my vision is to have a Borneo funding platform in the future, working with established crowdfunding platform in Indonesia. I would like to explore that next session, and please join us again the last Saturday of the month, next month, looking at funding, especially peer-to-peer funding and crowdfunding, and all the possibilities of that mode of funding for us going forward to fund our initiative. We could raise funds. It could be $100 ringgit, 1,000 ringgit, 5,000 ringgit by somebody chipping in 1 ringgit. Everybody can put 1 ringgit. So that is the power of peer-to-peer funding or crowdfunding, and we hope to kickstart that in Borneo. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Boyd, and Alan and Richard. Thank you, everyone. And Selamat Hari Sabtu. Yeah, have a good weekend and moving forward. Thank you. Thank you.
Be safe. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Everyone.
Thanks, Ken. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Amy.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Please go to our Facebook group, Facebook/ Borneo Forum. Put some posts there, comments. Put your contact there if you want. Connect with us, and we'll be in touch with you. We have a group as well / Borneo Organization. Facebook groups / Borneo Organization. So come and visit. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you, Jonas.
Thanks, Jonas. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Simon.
Thanks,
Okay,
Richard,
thank you.
Ellen, everyone.
Thank you, Boy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye. See you.
See
Bye.
you. See you.
Bye.
My cat also watching this. Meow.